Hey everybody, Eric here. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're going okay. Today I am very excited to unbox my childhood. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. So a little bit about me. I am almost 30. All right, I'm a couple weeks away from 30. I live in Australia with my wife and my son, and I've lived overseas for pretty much most of my 20s. I collected games pretty hardcore from the age of like 18 to 21 or 22. I would spend all of my pocket money on games, and I would suppose that still applies now, but I have to do so a little bit more frugalfully, I don't know. I was buying games like it was going out of style back in the early 2010s. Since I've been overseas, I actually haven't seen a lot of things. In these troublesome times, I dare say, as you know, the stresses of life sometimes set in, I like to look backwards and look on my childhood. I like to look for nostalgic things, hence why I collect games now. You know, I've posted Super Nintendo pickup videos. I've posted, you know, PlayStation pickup videos. Those are just consoles that I really like, but I've really been feeling that there's a little bit of a hole in my heart lately. And it's something that these two boxes here are gonna fill. So let's tear into them. Tell you what, that was really well packaged. So let's finally actually cut the box open now. So anyway, as I alluded to, I collected games quite a lot in my early 20s, and I've lived overseas. I've lived away from my parents. I've lived away from my brother my entire 20s pretty much. I've also lived away from my games, my precious games. I mean, I have a lot of games at home. Some stuff I've covered before on my YouTube channel, like the Vectrex and the ColecoVision, all that stuff. This is something that I actually started my YouTube channel covering, and it is my Nintendo 64. I tell you what, I have been refreshing the tracking information probably once every 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, it is so good to be reunited with my Jungle Green N64. So let's tear it open. And there's also games in here too. So yes, like I alluded to when I first started this YouTube channel back in 2012, November of 2012, when I was 19 when I started this YouTube channel. I started doing like retrospectives and like deep dives on things. And you know, the N64 was the console that I wanted to look at the most. A lot of those videos are unlisted now. Maybe maybe I'll show them to the public at some stage. But this game right here was the first game I ever did a video on, and this is Diddy Kong Racing. How good! I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is such an important game to me. Not only was this my first YouTube video that I covered, I did a review. I really loved Diddy Kong Racing as a kid. It was really hard trying to beat the bosses and just trying to complete the game. But this is also important in terms of like development. I mean, Banjo made his first appearance in this game, as well as Conker. This is a better racing game than Mario Kart 64. It's a more complete adventure because you've got, you know, your cars, you got your hovercraft, and you've got your plane as well. I have such a soft spot for this game, and it's very, very important to me. So I could nearly cry tears of joy because I've not only been away from this particular game for so long, but this game was my childhood. Now, not only that, my very first game that I ever played was Super Mario 64. I remember back in 1996 or 1997, I was 3 or 4. For some reason, my father thought it would be a good idea to buy me a Nintendo 64. They had no idea what they were doing buying me video games, believe me. But I love this game, and this is the very first game that I ever played. I have such a soft spot for Super Mario 64. Is it a perfect game? Yeah, it is. I'll take no further arguments. And of course, to play them, we have our Jungle Green Nintendo 64. This is so cool. The thing is about these consoles is these are NTSC consoles. I live overseas in Australia. You're probably wondering, well, how does he play them? Well, by using this thing right here. This is a power converter. So I plug the American power cable into this like this, and this plugs in the Australian wall outlet like this. I mean, it's overkill, and these are basically meant for household appliances, but this is how I power my Super Nintendo, my American Super Nintendo. And this video cable that I have for the Nintendo also has S-Video. That's cool. So I'll be playing this on my CRT. Now, we did have another box as well, and this is one that I actually ordered ahead of time, and it just so happened to arrive on the same day as my N64, which also, by the way, has the extra memory pack so I can play Donkey Kong 64. Oh boy, this is a really special one. So when you think of the N64, I'm sure a lot of you guys think of Rare. Now, Rare, of course, developed Diddy Kong Racing. Rare was probably, I would say, my favorite game developer as a kid. I mean, eventually I did graduate to JRPGs, and, you know, we went from defeating Bowser and saving Princess Peach to defeating God with our party of however many people traveling the realm of whatever in any given JRPG that I'm playing at the time, which is pretty much mostly what I play now, which is JRPGs. But I do love the old the N64 games and the platformer games. And this one is really special. And I spent so much time playing this particular game as a kid, and we're about to open it up right here. It is Banjo-Kazooie. Now, if you noticed, all these games that I have are complete in box. Now that I'm making more of a dive at the N64 library, I'm going to attempt to go for a complete in box collection as I go. And if I can find cartridge only, I'll probably try and chase down a box and manual. Like I said, I live in Australia. This is an NTSC game. I can generally find the NTSC games cheaper than the PAL games because it's a very niche market, I suppose, of people who would buy NTSC games in PAL regions. And of course, the region things aren't really a deal now. But back in the day, and I've covered it in my PAL versus NTSC videos, it did make a difference with how the game played and displayed. But I love these games, and they are just such a very important part of my childhood. This is just part of the experience. I mean, come on, we got Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and Diddy Kong Racing, and they've all got the box protectors as well. I can't tell you how good it feels to be reunited with these. Genuinely, I'm just so very pleased. My heart feels very full. So I'm very appreciative of my parents for sending the N64 and my games to me. I gotta say, do you guys like the N64? What are your go-to N64 games? For me, it would be these three, and then of course, you know, you've got your Star Fox as well, which I actually ordered and is on the way here from Western Australia. Complete in box with the Rumble Pack, because that's how we used to play back in the day. We used to have a Rumble Pack expansion that would sit at the bottom of the controller here, like this memory card attachment does. It was just such a funny way to play games back in the day, but this right here, these two things in my hand, this was my childhood. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope my excitement has at least brought a little bit of joy to you. It's not very often that I get very excited and very ecstatic about things, but this genuinely makes me feel like a kid again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.